PocaTV Wenzzzday.
Oh, wow, it's been such a while, DJ.
Yeah, man, long time. But we're here. We're still alive.
We're alive. Can you sit up a little straighter, please? Thank you. So, yes, it's been weeks and weeks and weeks since we did anything on PocaTV for many, many, many reasons. One of them being that you were kind of incommunicado because of a little thing called a hurricane. And I
Well,
was
yeah.
busy doing other stuff. You tell me, how are you, DJ?
Well, I mean, actually, the few that we didn't do, the few Wednesdays we skipped before the hurricane was due to various reasons, and one of them was there was actually a power outage at my yard one time, so couldn't do it. But yeah, we had a hurricane.
You had a hurricane.
Which
I'm glad you're in one piece. I'm glad we're hearing you. Let's do a little disclaimer. You're on somebody's borrowed laptop, and it's kind of old, so we don't know how it's going to hold up. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have to be positive.
we do. We always do. I think our viewers missed us because there's a lot of stuff going on already in the comment section. Let's quickly handle that. Here is our good friend Jaap saying,
Jaap.
please, hi Jaap, please never keep us waiting so long again with interesting broadcasts. It's out of our hands sometimes, Jaap. How is my own home? It's doing fine, which we will, and my friends are all okay. This is what the whole show is going to be about. So don't you worry, Jaap. You will be totally up to speed at the end of it. And here's our great friend Rosalind saying, good evening. Nice to be here again. Thank goodness we can all be here after the hurricane rampage. And she also says she hopes that both you and me and my extended friends and family in Jamaica are okay. Yes, they are. We are going to do a whole show about whatever happened during and after the hurricane. And in between, I'll be updating you on how things are in PocaTV and in my friendly circles. And here is Adrienne saying greetings, Poca and
Yeah,
DJ.
Adrienne.
Greetings, Adrienne. Thank you for joining us. So these are the people already with us, DJ. And I guess I've given it away. Today, we will be talking about the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl that wreaked havoc on the island of Jamaica on the 3rd of July of this year. And we'll be asking ourselves the questions, how is Jamaica doing right now?
But before that, there's an album behind me.
There is an album. You need to swivel your chair a little so we can actually see it. Swivel. Yes. And move your head away. That's it.
So it's just under the Bob Marley picture.
It is. Let me put you up slightly bigger so we can kind of see what's going on. And let me take down your headline. So there you go.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's the blue and pink thing we're seeing underneath Bob Marley.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's reggae as ever, but I chose the album because I've always loved the cover. I mean, it looks like a man on like Moses on Mount Sinai or something.
It probably is. You never know.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
kind of halfway through the show, if you help me remember, you'll give us a hint as to who or what we are looking at. And at the end of the program, you will tell us the answer. Okay, so anybody knowing already now can send in their answers in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook. If you know what that blue and pink album is that DJ is showing us in the background, you just make us know. Yeah. All right, DJ. Yes, I was saying we're going to talk about Hurricane Beryl, officially the second named her storm passing through the Caribbean this year, hence the name Beryl, because we take the alphabet. I read somewhere today that they are expecting 29 big storms in the Caribbean. I think 13 of which are supposed to be developing into hurricanes, 7 of which are supposed to be big hurricanes.
Well, I mean, look, this hurricane, it's unprecedented. It for for a hurricane to happen this so soon in the official hurricane season, and that's primarily because so we're told to climate change, and which I believe.
Well, let me just quickly explain how that works with the climate change. Hurricanes, big storms that come from the Atlantic, grow into hurricanes over hot seawater. And that's exactly what's happening now. The top layer of oceans, and especially the Caribbean, is so hot now that the air rises and gets into the storm, and then you get hurricanes. Yeah,
That's right.
so nobody ever expected a hurricane of any size, let alone this big one, a category 4, to be in July. There's a little rhyme that we have. Oh, I wish I'd had it
Well,
ready.
actually, it was in June when you consider the other Caribbean islands it passed before it hit Jamaica. So it was actually in June when it started.
When it started, yes. And there's a little rhyme that we learn in Jamaica. June too soon, July stand by, August come they must, September remember, and October all over. That used to be. I know that the huge ones like Gilbert and Ivan, they were all in September. So September, remember, those are the ones that you really, really need to fear.
Well, there's something interestingly you mentioned Ivan there. I mean, Gilbert was catastrophic, but Ivan was similar to Beryl in the sense that neither of them actually passed over the island. They passed adjacent beside the island. And my understanding is the main difference between the impact of Ivan on Jamaica and the impact of Beryl on Jamaica is that Ivan caused more damage, but that was mainly on the different parts of the island to the damage that Beryl caused, or to the parts of the island caused by Beryl.
Yes, because Beryl mostly damaged a lot in the south, whereas Ivan was the east of the island. That's where they come in.
Here's another funny thing, is that the major hurricanes of the past have all been, nearly all of them have all been attributed male names. Now, like Gilbert and Ivan and some of the others, I forget now. Matthew, I think, was one.
Matthew was a storm, wasn't even a hurricane.
Oh, okay. Yes. But Beryl happens, which as we all know is traditionally a female name. But who's to say Beryl wasn't trans? So you don't really know.
Who's to say that it's time for women to take over? Beryl just came along and thought, you know what, me not gonna go no glass ceiling. I'm just gonna blow them out of the park. That's what Beryl said. Anyway, so this is how it started. This is when everybody started talking about hurricane coming, is when we saw this kind of map. And the colored map, the one on the right, where you see the little yellow circle badly drawn by me, that's where Jamaica is. This is what we expected to happen, for the hurricane to go straight over the island. DJ, before, because they come from the Atlantic, which is, as you can see on the gray little map, they come across the water. That's from the east, right? Before they get to Jamaica, there's a whole bunch of islands. How did they fare while Beryl was passing over them?
Some of them fared better than expected. For example, Barbados fared better than was predicted. But Grenada and Carriacou in particular was devastated. And to put some context into that, I've been to both Grenada and Carriacou before. But Carriacou's a tiny little island off Grenada. You can only get there by boat. There's no airport. Obviously, it's just an island, and you can only get there by boat. And when I went there, it's like there's only one hotel. There's only one bank. And there's one or two restaurants. There's more livestock than people. There's more cows than people, for example, or goats or something. So it's very
there's more cows and pigs and goats in the Netherlands than people, but never mind that. Yeah.
Some of those people are included in that category those categories as well, I'm sure.
Zip lip. I'm not saying what came to my mind right there.
Yeah, but you're not denying what I said either.
Why would I?
Exactly. I mean, that's worldwide. That's just not just
Right.
exclusive to
Skip it.
Netherlands.
So Grenada got badly hit. So
Well,
did
no,
Carriacou.
I think Carriacou was worse. Carriacou is absolutely devastated. I mean, I think they're getting some relief from maybe the IMF or the World Bank and the UN. I think. I mean, this is what these organisations are for.
Yeah, and then they're just going to put the poor country into debt even more than it is already.
Well, we can get on to that a bit more when we talk specifically more about the implications of that on Jamaica.
Yes. So onwards went Beryl, and by that time, the experts knew a little bit more about what was going to happen. As you see on this map, I got Jamaica circled. If you look carefully, Beryl hit the south side of it, but only with the outskirts of the storm. So as everybody hopefully knows, a hurricane is like this whole weather system that turns around, and in the middle is what we call the eye. The bigger the storm, the bigger the eye wall. That means from the earth upwards, it's thicker. The eye wall gets thicker the bigger the storm gets. And when a huge storm hits you and the eye wall hits you, that is absolutely devastating. So that did not happen. By the grace of whatever happened there, it did not happen. Only the outskirts of that hurricane, where the wind is still going crazy, that's what hit the south side of Jamaica. Am I right in saying that?
Yes. It was the south side that the hurricane passed along the south of the island. Sorry, can you just go back to that slide, please?
Sure.
I mean, what's interesting here is that, because this is the first time I've seen this slide, is that the speed of the hurricane after it left Jamaica gradually, it decreased. It went up slightly back up slightly on Saturday and Sunday, but then on the Monday it decreased again. So it's interesting that
it slows down over land. That's what hurricanes do. They slow down over land because that's when they discharge all that water that's in them, and the big hurricane system moves onward, but it's less full of water. So
that explains why the category was reduced from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1.
Exactly. Yes. And then it picked up again once it left. You can see on the map it was supposed to hit Mexico, which it did. It crossed Mexico into the Gulf of Mexico, went onwards to Texas. That body of water again made it pick up speed and grow stronger.
But one thing that's just occurred to me, look, the fact that I can see Haiti there is Haiti escaped it, and which is amazing, because normally Haiti gets the brunt of everything, whether it's a hurricane, an earthquake, or whatever. So thankfully Haiti escapes it.
They got winds, they got rain, but nothing devastating, let's put it that way.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
So once this kind of stuff happens, that journalists get really fired up. They want to go tell a story. They want to go be there they want to be in the storm. Many of them still make the mistake of saying, I want to be in the eye of the storm. They don't know that in the eye of the storm, it's totally wind still. So never mind. But we found, at least I did, I found some footage of the CNN reporter telling us what was going to happen. He was in Kingston and he was doing a live piece to camera, telling the viewers at home just what to expect. And this is how that looked.
Hurricane Beryl is now here in Jamaica, and it's hitting the southern tip of the coastline with all its might. It's hard to remain standing because the winds are just very, very powerful. And this is not over yet. We have seen how lots of debris have been blown off in the last few minutes, and also how the roof was blown off on top of that building right there. And the big danger is that there's a possibility of the ocean getting into the street, because the storm surge is supposed to rise at least 10 feet. So So these are very dangerous conditions here in Kingston. And of course, authorities are asking people to remain in shelters. They tell us that nearly 500 people are in shelters right now. Again, this is only the beginning, and you can tell how strong the winds are here in Kingston.
Yeah.
And what he touched on at the end about shelters.
Can you sit up straight, please?
Yeah, sorry. What
Yes.
he touched on in the end about shelters is interesting in the sense that many Jamaicans who were exposed to the elements and they couldn't really protect themselves properly because of the nature of their homes were too vulnerable. You know, some of them are living in shacks and not concrete buildings that can withstand strong storms. They were transferred to safe buildings like schools and churches and, you know, stuff like that.
Which were, from what I read, in a deplorable state. No place to bathe, no proper toilets, no beds, no.
Yeah,
That's kind of hard. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things about this storm, we had very little notice to prepare.
Yeah, but
So-
there should be some kind of catastrophe program in place, shouldn't there?
Well, yeah, I think the government has been kind of criticised a lot for saying, you know, they should have done more sooner. It's political because as with all these things, you know, it comes down to money and how's it going to be paid for. And,
yeah. What I would like to remark on is the reporter we just saw, CNN reporter.
Yeah.
DJ, the wind was blowing, but in Jamaica we call that a breeze. We don't even have it. No, we don't even call it a breeze. He was there kind of early, really pretending, wasn't he?
Well, I don't
we
know.
Just saw?
That looked like a pretty strong winds to me.
Yeah, but I mean, not the kind of wind that would pick you up and put you.
Well,
he was jumping from left to right.
I know he was trying to make it look worse than it was.
Yes, and at the end there was really not even any wind. That's why we totally understood what he was saying. But me, you know, I worked in a newsroom. I know how these things go. If it's not spectacular, we just call it a little breeze. And we what are those islands going on about? We saw our reporter and he got a little wet, but it really wasn't that bad. That's what lingers in people's minds. So in order to show people what it actually looked like during Beryl, I kind of looked up some stuff and I made a little compilation. Let's have a look at what the hurricane actually looked like.
It ripped the phone wire off the house. I don't know if it's the old wire or the new wire, but yeah, that is ripped off the house. I think you can see it. It's just, holy shit. It's really bad. Really bad. Ivan was nothing like this.
Watch it through them and move, boy! Jesus, a tree broke! It tree broke! The whole I peer them drop off! The pear tree brought down! Gee, and the banana tree them flat too!
Pear tree.
The pear tree.
Pear tree. Oh.
Yes, that's an avocado.
Oh, that's
and
really devastating. Yeah.
And all the banana tree them flat. I love how she said flat. But that's a hurricane, people.
Yeah. But let's put some more context into that because, as we mentioned before, it didn't even pass over the island. So just imagine what it would have been like if it had like in Carriacou,
right,
and Grenada. which
Yes.
is why they got more damage, which
Yes.
is why it's more devastating. I should say.
It was still a 3 when it hit Grenada. So that's probably what saved them.
Yeah. But it was a 3 over Grenada. Jamaica got a 4 beside
Yeah,
Jamaica.
that is
So
true.
it depends how you look at it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Rosalind says terrifying. That's the exact word. DJ, can you tell us, because I mean you were there, I was here sitting in Holland. What's the sound like? Can you give us an idea what went through your head when it was happening?
Well, because I knew it was coming, and because I knew, and because I've never been exposed to a hurricane before, it's my first experience. I was kind of intrigued, and actually looking forward to a spectacle. That's how I was looking at it. If I'm going to die from a hurricane, then there's probably nothing I can do about it. So I'm just going to try and make the most of it and try and, you know what I mean?
So it was exciting in a way.
Yeah, it was just real drama. It was like watching a movie, like an epic movie, really. I mean, look, I was watching when it was full on. I was indoors because it was too dangerous to be outside. But I was watching it, and I was literally seeing objects flying through the air. It's like, what's that film? Is it Wizard of Oz? Where you have
yes. That's not a hurricane. That's a
tornado.
Tornado.
Yeah, but it's the same principle in terms of what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, objects. I'm seeing limbs of trees flying through the air. I had palm tree fronds. Several of them landed in my yard. One actually landed in my pool. And I actually saw that one fly over and splash into my pool. So there's someone's palm tree somewhere to the east of where I am, because the wind was blowing westwards. That's their frond.
Yeah. Well, they don't have no more tree. But tell us about the noise.
Well, the noise was very how shall I put it? Well, it was dramatic. It was loud. It was bass and mid range, I would say, but not much treble.
That's a true DJ. So low. No. That's valuable info. So low sounds.
I would say upper bass / low mid range.
Upper bass / low mid range. So on the lower side of the spectrum.
On the lower side of a vocal range, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how loud?
In terms of it was loud. I mean, put it this way, it was difficult to have a conversation. I had a guest with me at the time.
Yes. You had your B&B guest.
Yeah, she came from UK, and she actually arrived on the Tuesday night, the night before, and she knew she'd been following the news and weather alerts that there was a hurricane, but she wasn't deterred from cancelling, from cancelling her flight or her trip.
That's kind of brave.
Well, yeah, exactly. So she went ahead with it, and thankfully she's been to Jamaica before. She's from Jamaica, so
originally, yes,
yeah. But she never, like me, she'd never been exposed to a hurricane, so it was a kind of new thing to her. But she kind of, like most Jamaicans, took it in her stride, take it naturally.
Yeah, because there's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is prepare. What did you do to prepare? Because I remember when Ivan came, I only just had PocaTV at the time. And they were telling you on the radio, have your batteries there, have your tinned food, have your water supply, exactly. All of that. Is that what you did?
I 2 days before, I went to the supermarket, and the lines, as in queues, were worse than at Christmas time. So, they were stretching right all the way back from the checkout to the very back of the supermarket. It's
wow.
And the aisles are quite long in that supermarket. So,
did you manage to get any stuff like water, like tinned food?
I got all of that. I was lucky. And I got, tins of sardines and mackerel and things. And because you need to buy all that, because during a hurricane, you
can't go out.
What happens is you have no power unless you have solar or a generator, which a lot of people actually do have here, but I don't. And the water. So after about I think on the Wednesday afternoon, the piped water was stopped or went out. And then in the evening, the electricity went out. And the evening was when the hurricane was peaking, around 7, 8 in the evening.
Yeah.
And
no electricity means no internet.
well, no, not necessarily, because you can have mobile data, but and which we were using until that went out, and then there was no phone service at all. Because
Exactly.
and here's an interesting story. Digicel, which is the main
Provider.
mobile phone provider, and many years ago they used to keep, for their masts, they used to keep backup generators. So in the event of something like this, they switch to a backup generator and people can still make phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
But they stopped doing that years ago because people kept on stealing them. No, I know, I know. So they stopped doing it. So this time a hurricane happens and there's no backup power supply backup. Therefore, there was no phone service at all. You couldn't text, voice call, WhatsApp, no internet, nothing. There was no way of communicating other than shouting and sending smoke signals, old school style.
Wow.
That's the only way you could communicate. And that went on for about 3 days.
Well, then you were even lucky, because I know people who only just recently got back their electricity and still don't have water. But those are people living in rural areas.
Well,
so
there are still people even now that haven't had their electricity switched back on. And,
that's right.
And herein lies another situation where in Jamaica, like many developing countries, the electricity cables and internet cables are overground.
Yeah, they're still on poles like we used to have in
Exactly.
1972.
So the storm happens, and basically the poles fall down or they get destroyed, and the cables get severed, and therefore your connection goes. However, JPS, who are the island's only electricity provider, have this obligation to actually proactively switch off the electricity anyway, because if they don't, it can be very hazardous, because it can cause fire, basically.
Yeah. I must say, people who watch this program regularly know I'm not a big fan of JPS, but I must say their communication was on point. I mean, I'm a user. Even if I'm here in the Netherlands, I have an account with JPS. I got my emails telling me this is going to happen, that's going to happen, we're going to shut you off, and all of that. I also got the email saying they will now be kind of coming up with a figure of what I owe them. We'll see how that goes.
Well, that's another hot potato, because what's happened here is that the majority of the island has smart meters, digital meters. Yes, and what that means is the smart meters automatically send over the readings via cellular, not through cables. It's a wireless technology, to the JPS network. When the JPS network have that reading, they're able to generate a bill based on your actual reading and therefore how much electricity you've actually used.
Yeah.
What happened during the hurricane was that connectivity between the meters and the JPS network was down for many people. So that meant people with smart meters those smart meters were not sending readings.
So send the guy to read my meter, really? Like we used to do like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but during, I think JPS had their hands full just to try and get the poles back up, just to get people reconnect. But this is one of the things that there's a limit, there's only a certain amount of resource that they have, as in people. And they've got thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, especially in the rural areas, as you mentioned earlier, in the country, where it's hard enough to get to these places in non-hurricane times because the roads are not that great.
Yeah, let alone now.
So let alone with trees falling on the road and blocking it, you have to saw the tree, clear it, and all this stuff.
We'll give them that.
And I will also say that when, and this is my experience ever since I've lived here in Jamaica, when JPS do get round to looking at a problem and fixing it, they do a really good job of it.
I'll be happy when they put their cables underground.
Well, that's a huge infrastructure project which is huge, very expensive. But
we're building roads in Jamaica. Just dig the trench. Really, it's not rocket science. We're building roads in Jamaica. Dig the trench.
I mean, look, it would be. There are parts of Kingston, for example, where internet cables are underground,
and even electricity cables. When you go to the business area, you don't see cables above ground.
Yeah, but Kingston is a metropolis. It's kind of a bit more up to date in terms of infrastructure than other parts of Jamaica.
All true.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, let me quick look in the comments section. Here is Adrienne saying, "Oh, Rosalind is laughing about the fact. I remember when she wrote it when you talked about the low range and the mid range. That made me laugh too.
Funny because it came from me.
Yeah. And Adrienne says the salt deposit on the lines causes an increase of the voltage. That is true. Yep.
Which is another
even more hazardous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I suppose people are they've been asking how is your house? How is my house? My house is fine. We think I still need to get two experts to go up on my roof to check on my heat roof and also on my solar water heater system. It's being worked on as we speak. But you, DJ, you were telling us you had a B&B guest in your wonderful Airbnb. She arrived the day before the storm came. And she actually filmed a little something during the storm so we can see what she saw from her little window. No, you have big windows. You don't have small windows. You have big windows.
But it was because the window wasn't open for obvious reasons. She's filming it behind glass. Which means the quality isn't that great.
Yeah. And then you, the next day, made a video. I put the two of them together. Let's have a look.
All right.
Bad enough, this.
And listen, you can hear the sound.
Yeah. Look at the trees.
And this was indoors. Imagine what it was like if it was filmed out in terms of the sound.
Look at your palm tree. Wow.
There has to be a calm.
Ah.
The morning after Beryl. This is the entrance to my yard. Not looking so bad. Most things in place still. Let's go for a walk. At the moment, no electricity, no piped water, no phone signal even. So as we approach, you can see enough Aki got strewn, die too young.
Oh, what a shame.
There you go. Sorry about the finger and the thumb. It really bugs me as well.
It's okay.
It's not. It's terrible.
Wow.
Not looking so bad. Enough debris was flying through the air yesterday. As you can see, here's a frond from somebody's palm tree. One of those that were flying through the air that landed in my yard. This is the state of my veranda, which is all fixable. It's not really a problem.
All those chairs were upright to begin with. The wind blew them.
Of course they were.
There's the sea, if you can see it.
That looks a sight.
I know, that's why I did it.
Look at your yard.
And then we can see some more palm tree fronds that ended up in my yard. They were literally flying through the air. And amazingly, not one of them was from my palm tree, which is right here. So that's quite something. You can see here some more ackee strewn on the floor. Breadfruit tree survived.
Oh, thank God.
Some of the breadfruit did not. But I think I spy one over there that can actually be consumed.
And it
We'll
was.
study that later. African tulip tree, which is not a fruit tree, but it's pretty, survived, which I was amazed at because its roots are actually quite weak. And oh dear, soursop tree and my plantain trees have really suffered.
Oh.
Yeah, one plantain tree has been completely uprooted. The others are leaning, and they should obviously be vertical. Hopefully they will survive.
And so far they have survived because they've been propped up by sticks of bits of wood. And so far and they are alive because I'm seeing new shoots growing from them. So
excellent. Well, I know from what you told me, because you went to see PocaTV, and I know from my neighbors as well, my banana and plantation really suffered, but my avocado is still up. Most of the flowers I planted in April and May are still there. From the yard in my house, there is no actual damage to be seen, except one shrub that was planted by my daddy, may he rest in peace. One shrub went over, but neighbor guy, he split that one and he planted 3 small pieces. So hopefully that will spring back up.
But I didn't notice any, at least exterior building damage to your yard.
No, but I'm mostly concerned about what's on my roof. You did not get up on my roof.
No, exactly. Yes.
And I know from my neighbor that he found one shingle in my yard. Maybe it's not my shingle. Maybe it came from Trelawney, but there was a shingle in my yard. So the roof guy is going to go see it. And the plumber is going to go check out on the solar water heating system. Isn't it great that I can sit here in the Netherlands and send a WhatsApp to people I know in Jamaica and ask them, look here, I'm in Holland. Can you go please check my roof? Isn't that wonderful that they actually do that for me?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. No Dutch people would do that. They would say, I'll send you an invoice, and then we can see.
They'd want paid for it. They'd want paying for it. Yeah.
No, nobody in Jamaica asked me for any money or even expects any money. They cleaned up my yard for me.
This is part of the Jamaican culture, at least in Jamaica. I think it's slightly different because I used to live in London, where there's a huge amount of Jamaicans there. But the way Jamaicans are there, I experience a different.
Well, they're Englishified, aren't they? They're like I am, like I am Dutchified. We get all harsh and nasty. That's what you get from living here.
They start drinking Earl Grey tea and say I never want to come back to Jamaica. But here everyone is happy to lend a hand.
Yeah,
they really are because they know ultimately Jamaica is it's a poor country.
And poor people, when they're bad lucky, they take care of each other. If there's one banana left, they're gonna share it with the whole neighborhood. Yeah,
it's a family thing. It's a family thing. It's one of the things I like about it.
Oh, one of the many things. Yeah. So DJ, of course, you and I living in Montego Bay, we're on the north end of Jamaica, and we got the whole of Jamaica, holding our back when these things happen. The Blue Mountains are in between, which that is why so many hurricanes go straight to Jamaica, and at the last minute they kind of swerve off. I saw a whole documentary on that. The Blue Mountains in the east side of Jamaica have often saved Jamaica from what was actually expected to be happening.
It deflects the hurricanes. Yeah.
It does. That's the proper word, the deflect. Thank you for that. So what I'm trying to say is that we being on the north side, yes, we had to clean our yards. Yes, maybe some shingles flew from my roof. Yes, you find what is it? palm tree frond in your pool, and all of that. You need to do a lot of cleaning. But we kind of lucky living where we live, don't we? What we do know is that in the south of the island, and most specifically the two parishes of St. Elizabeth and Clarendon, they were really badly hit.
Yeah.
And there's one spot in Clarendon in Alligator Pond that everybody really loved, I should say. It's called Little Ochi. Look at that. Look at what a lovely place it used to be. It's a seafood restaurant on the beach, and it's got all kinds of cabanas where people can spend the whole day, and you can eat lovely, lovely lobster or escovitch fish. And then, of course, Little Ochi is very famous for the parties that go on there, like carnival or reggae festivals that they do. And the place always full up when that happens. Have you ever been to Little Ochi?
No, I've been meaning to, because I was told many years ago that, in his opinion, the person who told me, it's the best place for seafood and fish in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Well, DJ, it's going to take a while before you and I can go visit Little Ochi and have that food. Because
I know. I haven't seen the pictures that you're going to show me.
Okay, let's look what it looks like now. Brace yourselves, people. It's kind of sad. Yeah.
I've never seen this ever. In 50 years, I've never seen something like this. There's no light, there's no water, there's no work. Dresser, whatnot, Chester jar, the washing machine gone.
That's sad, isn't it?
Rasta Break Free is the tune. Wicked tune.
Yes, DJ. Yes, DJ. Yeah. It is.
Sorry.
Yes. Now, how can I move on to what we were talking about when you go Rasta Break Free?
Oh, sorry.
You are so insensitive. People are telling you about their washing machine flying through the air, no job, no work.
Yeah, but
no
I was
food.
just remarking that the music was going through my head. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, you carry on now, because you totally.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mash up my train of thought.
I'm sorry. No, but
you fixed your trouble.
Well, yeah, as you can see, it's devastating. There's not much left of it, and the people are going to struggle until they can rebuild. Hopefully they had some hoping that they can rebuild on. Hopefully they have insurance of some sort. Just to make it.
You know what insurance for acts of God cost in Jamaica. I don't know anybody who has anything insured for hurricane. Do you?
No. I know people who just buy specific hurricane insurance. You can get it. All they do is they have hurricane insurance, and they've never had to claim on it before since it came into being, because there hasn't been a hurricane. So I'm assuming those that have got damage can claim on it. But anyway.
But it's very, very expensive, as you can imagine, because they call it acts of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got to clean up like everybody else on the south side of the island. Before I do that, DJ, let's handle your album, because yeah.
All right. So shall I go?
Give us a hint.
Shall we reveal?
Yeah, not a reveal. Give us a hint.
Oh, well, the hint's a tough one. How am I going to hint on that one? He's no longer alive. It's a he, obviously, because I said so. He's very famous for a tune called "Cool Down Your Temper," which is
Cool down your temper. Oh
And
gosh,
it's
who
on a
is it?
rhythm it's on a rhythm that's got many tunes on the same rhythm, and I believe he sung on the original lick to the rhythm.
Cool down your temper. Oh gosh, who is it?
You've got the tune in your head, haven't you?
Yes, I do, but I'm not coming up with the name as usual. Any other song that we know by him?
Yes. Inner the Yard, I think. Is it called Inner the Yard? Hold up.
No, that would make it Chinna.
No. Freddie,
No.
this person was
You said Freddie. Freddie McGregor?
Inner Me Yard.
In a me yard. In a me yard. You said Freddie. Is it Freddie McGregor?
No.
Okay. Then I don't know. Well, if anybody watching knows the answer, give it to us in the comments section. And I completely forgot to put up the QR code for people to join the show. We're not going to do that because it's hairy enough as it is with your connection today. So we were talking about all the cleaning up that's taking place right now. As we speak, people are still cleaning up. We need to shortly touch on casualties because there were, how many in Jamaica? How many dead people?
2.
2 people, right? I believe it was one lady in Hanover and one young youth who chased his football into the gully near Kingston, and nobody ever saw him again. Yeah.
He didn't make it. Good grief.
He didn't make it. No. I mean, but people really should know better than to go out when this happens. Really, really, really. Yeah.
Well, I saw images. I saw videos of people right in the thick of the storm climbing up on. There was a woman who climbed on top of a roof trying to stop her roof from being ripped off. The storm could have taken her.
Let alone all those zinc roofs that I was just showing you.
But
If that starts flowing through the air, that will decapitate you. That's the most dangerous stuff that can go on in Jamaica during a hurricane is people's galvanized roofs come off and start flowing through the air, and they
that's
jump off
exactly
your
what she
head.
was doing. Her roof was a zinc roof, just like you see there.
Yeah, but it was a new roof. It's not smart. It's actually kind of stupid, but I can understand. It was a new roof. She had only just put it on.
I can understand it, of course.
But it wasn't smart. It wasn't smart.
Not wise.
No.
And she didn't manage to save it anyway, but she saved herself.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes. Anybody in the watching us have any questions? Ask them in the comment section and make us know. There's another bit that we really need to talk about, DJ. We touched on your banana plants. We touched on my yucca planting. We touched on my banana and plantain, and we saw the one in the lady who. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. The lady filming during the storm, saying her trees went down. A lot of banana and plantain went down, as did 2 big breadfruit trees. When they're too tall, they will catch the wind and just topple over. But this is kind of dramatic because bananas and plantains are staple foods in Jamaica. That's what people eat every single day.
Well, yeah, and indeed, and one of the figures I think the government quoted it was that 80%, 80, so that's 8 out of 10 banana and plantain trees, and therefore crops, were destroyed.
Yeah, they're not very sturdy trees, right? They like to grow in a group because
that's why they normally get, they normally suffer more than other trees.
Yeah.
Because you could actually push them anyway without using much strength, and they will wobble.
And most of these trees that went down probably have suckers, like you were showing in your video, the little tiny ones that grow on the side. But for them to bear, it's going to take 9 months.
Exactly,
and we're in hurricane season now.
And coupled with that, 30%, 30% of farmland has been destroyed. Farmland generally has been destroyed.
Yeah.
As well.
We got a picture of a guy. Look at all the land he has, and he went in search of whatever he could still sell. This is all
was
he
growing
found.
root vegetables, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
really sad.
obviously the future is not bright for these people, because how are they going to make any much survive without any product to sell until those
And no
suckers
food to eat. And no food to eat. Because this is right after the hurricane. I saw this in the Jamaican newspaper. The price of a cabbage, a 1 kilo cabbage, was around €6. No Jamaican can pay that. I can't pay that. So I wonder how prices are now. Have you noticed any change?
Everyone's saying that everything is going to go up, especially banana and plantain. But interestingly, I bought some bananas last week and it was cheaper. But
They were cheaper.
Yeah, they were cheaper than I normally were paying. But maybe if I go next week, they will have gone back up.
Maybe they sold you the bananas that blew off.
Possibly.
You're supposed to buy your banana in a bunch, but
I did. This was a bunch. Yeah, man, it was a bunch, and it was green turning yellow. So
maybe it's your neighborhood that they still affordable.
I don't know. I think what I'm possibly thinking, it was existing stock that they chose not to reprice, and it's possibly new stock, which is going to be, if the 80% figure is anywhere near accurate, then new stock will probably be priced higher because, it's demand and supply economics.
Exactly. Yeah. Ross wants to know: has Jamaica had many bad hurricanes? Yes. Not all huge, but we all know the 1988 Gilbert, because that was the grandmother of all hurricanes. That one really went all straight over Jamaica, didn't it? Gilbert was
Gilbert was fake. I remember seeing. I lived in England at the time, and I remember seeing images of satellite dishes flying through the air. That's a lasting image.
And whole roofs of even stone buildings came off at the time. In certain parts of the island, and the whole of the eastern. Same happened with Ivan, which was 2004. That was kind of a big one. I remember I went back straight after the hurricane and went up a country to see. It's devastating. Like whole pieces of landslide came down, and houses coming down into the gully. We didn't see much of that this time, did we? No.
Well, if it happened, maybe it wasn't filmed. I don't know. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but it wouldn't surprise me that did happen in places.
Yeah. So I'm trying to come up with the other big ones. These are the two memorable ones that we are still talking about. And I guess we're going to add Beryl to that. But there have been a good many storms, Rosalind. And the funny thing is, in Jamaica, they don't say it's windy. They say it's a breeze. Unless it's like a real huge one, like this one, we don't call it a breeze. They actually said this was windy.
Yeah, exactly.
But
what we call a breeze here is what in Europe people would call a storm.
Exactly, like a 12. What's the
force?
Yeah,
gale force.
Gale force 12 is they still call that a breeze in Jamaica. Yeah,
exactly.
And Ross also wants to know. You mentioned IMF money for hurricane help. What is it about what's going to happen, DJ?
I mentioned that in reference to Grenada and Carriacou at the time. Jamaica has a disaster management recovery fund where money has been topped up over the years. I'm pretty sure from the taxpayer to cover events such
catastrophes.
As this. Catastrophes, to pay for damage. But also several years ago, they took out this something called catastrophe bonds, which is a World Bank, therefore UN project. And the idea is that investors buy these bonds, and in the event of a catastrophe, then those investors have to pay out up to the value of the bonds. The draw for investors is that they earn interest on these bonds, for example.
Yeah.
So hence it's an investment for them. However, on this occasion, and this is a $150 million US bond.
150 million US. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now that, in the grand scheme of things, actually, that doesn't sound very much money.
But for an island like Jamaica, it's a huge amount of money.
That's what I was just about to say. If it was UK or US or Netherlands or France, it would say that's not going to help us really. That's not going to go very far because the population is much bigger in those places, for example. However, they are refusing to pay out on the grounds of the hurricane itself did not meet all the criteria to make a successful.
Oh, come off it, DJ Conscious.
On the grounds that the air pressure did not meet the criteria. This is what they're saying. This is the World Bank. This is the UN's World Bank who are refusing.
How many
to pay
ways
out.
are they going to screw over? Excuse my language.
No,
How
it's
many
true.
ways are they going to screw over the Caribbean?
I know. It's disgusting. But
So on a little technicality that the air pressure wasn't quite low enough, they're not going to pay out.
Look, it was the whole thing is a catastrophe bond. So it's basically it's a glorified insurance scheme. That's why it exists. But the difference between this and a regular insurance scheme, with a regular insurance scheme, you pay a premium. And then when you make a claim, you can claim up to the amount that premium has covered you for.
Yes.
With this one, the amount of the premium effectively is the amount that you can get back. No more.
I don't even want to hear those kind of details. I just want them to pay the money and disperse.
I was about to say the thing disgraceful about this is with normal insurance businesses, one of the reasons they make so much money is they do everything they can to wriggle out of paying claims. However, with this is not a commercial enterprise in terms of, it is for the investors because they're doing it to make money. But the fact that it's a World Bank UN sponsored project makes it.
I can hardly believe what I'm hearing. And Rosalind says the right word. She says thieves. Yes, that's what they are. They're scum. That's what they are. Scum.
It is. It's disgraceful.
And this is the United Nations, is what you're telling us.
Well, the World Bank is part of the UN.
Yes.
But a lot of people in Jamaica, understandably, are saying the whole thing was a scam, and it was only designed to make the people who invested in the money, who are typically Jamaicans themselves, from what I understand, not just Americans or Europeans, and would never have any intention of paying out anyway. But so there's a kind of a political thing about this going on, saying the government should have done more about it, but that's another thing altogether.
Okay, let's talk about the government. We see there Prime Minister Andrew Holness visiting the southern. I think he's in Clarendon there, together with the in Clarendon on the left hand in orange. You see the guy. He's the MP for Clarendon, Labor. What's his name? What is it that the government of Jamaica can do for the people most hit by this hurricane that passed through on the 3rd of July of this year?
Well, this is why they have this disaster management recovery fund. But I don't think really anyone really knows is how much is in that fund, and depending on how much there is, the thing is, do they actually have this fund in cash, or is it just paper money as well? Because if it's just paper money, then you can't use that, and therefore it may well be that they might have to go back to the IMF, and Jamaica is already indebted so much to the IMF.
Yeah, and they can never come out of debt from that. That's a whole show we need to do on that one time. But it's kind of complicated. Countries like Jamaica can never pay off their debt. What I want to know, because I read that Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, he what's the word? He promised money to people, especially the farmers in Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth being the breadbasket of Jamaica. That's where the food comes from. Well,
And
the southern,
and the worst hit parish.
the worst hit parish. I don't know the numbers. Do you know the numbers? What he promised the farmers?
No, I don't actually know the numbers.
So where's the
but-
money going to come from?
Well, search me. I mean, they say they have this magic fund, so they should dip into it. That's what these funds are for.
Yeah, but what have you been? Because what I know is a couple of days old. Has there been any update to what's going to go on?
Not as far as I know. Most people at the moment are really angry. Most people are really angry that their electricity bills are being estimated, which goes back
upwards. I don't believe anybody's going to get a lower bill than they normally do. Do you?
Hold on. You haven't heard the latest news. There's an update on that. What happened was because they couldn't get actual readings for the reasons I gave before, they said the rule is they have to estimate the reading, and then in the following month's bill, based on an actual reading, everything gets self-adjusted. So anything that you may have overpaid in, say, July, you'll get back.
But DJ, how can remember Jamaican people, the average wage? No.
I know what you're going to say. How can they pay?
They cannot pay a higher
in the first place.
Yes.
And so the way what they were doing, there is a set agreed legislative way that they calculate estimated bills, which is based on history, and therefore it did not take into account of outages as a result of Beryl since that history. Therefore, they should have applied some sort of reduction in the estimated result to account for outages / hardship as a result of the hurricane. Now, only this morning I read that Daryl Vaz, who's the Minister for Energy, which covers JPS, JPS have now said that any customers who used up to 150 kilowatt hours of electricity will get a 20% discount for this month.
How are they going to know if they can't read the meters? I don't understand this.
That's the question I've fired back to him, because the statement JPS made is very ambiguous and very vague, and it needs clarity. But it also says to me, what they're saying is you get a 20% discount if your usage is below a certain amount. But what about people whose usage is over that amount? Why aren't they getting the discount? Why are they making that distinction?
Why don't they just hire people in the streets who are without a job right now and man telephones so you and I can go to our meter, read it out loud, give bloody JPS a call and say, this is my meter number right now.
That's the point. There are still meters without readings. So some of the meters, when I had an outage here, the meter is blank. The meters were effectively switched off. It was as though they were powered off. So there's nothing to read. That's the point.
But has that come back now? Can you now read your meter?
For some people, but people without electricity, they haven't.
Okay. But start with the people who do, who can walk outside and look at their pole and see the meter and give a call to JPS. I'm getting kind of very depressed with all this, because everything you're telling me is, yes, there are measures in place, but we're not going to use them. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. Well, they've just decided they've just agreed to for this 20% discount, but that was only in reaction to politicians calling them out on it. People were calling out the politicians, saying this is not fair. It's very unfair. First of all, half of these people still haven't got electricity back 3 weeks down the line.
People in Portland still don't have electricity in the east side of the island.
Yeah, and people in St. Elizabeth and Clarendon too. And even Manchester. And Manchester was hit quite bad as well.
You cannot kick a population down when it's already down. Somebody must come up with something.
I know.
there's a little tiny little thing that kind of lifts my heart, and it's not coming from Jamaica. It's coming from the neighboring island, Cayman Island, where the population, which is a really, really tiny population, I think it's maybe a couple of 100,000 people there. They all, took the little pennies from their pocket and put it in a plastic bag and send it. They collected 200,000 United States dollars for their neighbor Jamaica. See, that warms my heart.
No,
That warms
know.
my heart.
I
I
know.
mean, to us, it sounds like peanuts, but to them, it's a huge amount of money.
And that's a lovely gesture, because they're not compelled to do that. They do.
No, and they had storm too. They had storm too.
Yeah,
I'll put up the
exactly.
map again so we can know where Cayman is. Where is my map? Right there.
And then you get the good old US of A who donate a paltry $2.5 million US. I mean, how far is that going to go?
Shame on them.
No, shame on America. Shame on.
That's what I'm saying. Shame on them.
Especially when you consider how much Jamaicans in America contribute to the US economy.
Exactly. Who drives the trucks? Who drives the taxis? Who does the restaurants? Who cleans for the elderly? Who wipes their bloody bums for the American elderly? That's not Americans doing that. That's Jamaicans doing that. I'm so frustrated.
So the $2.5 million, it's insulting. It's insulting, that amount.
DJ, we're gonna need to find a way to end this in kind of happy way, because the last 15 minutes have only been disaster.
But you see, the answer lies in Jamaica needs to try and become more self-reliant, in my opinion, and not reliant on other countries and donors, for example.
The first thing I made, that's what I did in my last PocaTV live on the 31st of May. That's what I said. Everybody solar on their roof. Nobody would have been without electricity now. Maybe your panel blew off your roof, but at least you had 10 more. It's small things that need to be done on the island so this doesn't keep happening.
Agreed.
How are we going to get this done, DJ? You and I are from foreign. We have no right to talk.
Well, yeah. I wish I mean, how do other countries do it?
Revolution.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No, we need to. We need to
hold
take
on.
out JPS. We do, because it's not Jamaican energy. It's American energy that JPS sells to Jamaican people. While it could be the other way around. If everybody had solar on their roof, Jamaica would be selling energy to the whole Caribbean and maybe even back to the United States, because the United States is going to be in trouble with their energy soon.
Put it this way, it would be in a rich person's or rich company's interests, perhaps an American company, perhaps a European one, to actually sponsor to subsidize, or at least partially subsidize the investment of installing solar systems.
Make that part of the reparations that England needs to pay to countries like Jamaica. Go put in some proper infrastructure.
Yeah,
and butt out right after you've done it.
Exactly, but they could do deals whereby we the rich person or the corporation, we provide the materials, the panels and the batteries and everything else. We'll even send some people out to help install them, and in return, then obviously they're going to want something in return. They
can get a discount. We're not going to give it to them for free. No.
They get a cut. They get a cut of the energy usage that is sold back. And that's how.
If you and I can come up with these things, DJ, I wonder why. These people don't.
Well, who knows what goes on? I don't know. I mean, see. There's this other thing that I found out. There's this thing called have you heard of the CCRIF?
What's that?
The Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility.
That's another scam. That's another people gonna have to pay premiums that they cannot afford. No. And by the time they want money, it's not gonna come.
Well, what I was going to say, it's not something people pay into. It's something that's there, that has been given. I think it's something like $50 million US or something has been earmarked for Jamaica, but I don't know how they get access.
Earmarked. We always hear about earmarked.
I
And then
know,
when
I
anybody
know.
really wants the earmarked money, it's not gonna come.
The thing
No,
is, I think what they're
I think Caribbean islands should start working together more and kick out all the colonial
Well,
people.
isn't that one of the things perhaps CARICOM exists for? It's a block like the EU, isn't it? It's a block.
Yeah, but it's not block enough.
Yeah, but
It's not block enough because they're still working to please the big countries.
Well,
Start working with the African Union instead of looking towards the United States or Europe. Start working with the African Union. The African Union is doing pretty well, but let's not say that loudly. Let's not say it loudly. Let Africa just develop itself and then take all the diaspora with it. I am sick and tired of the same story. What does Rosalind say? The ruling hands are in the same pocket. That's a great expression. Yeah. I never heard it before, but it says exactly what's going on, Rosalind. I don't know why I'm getting so flustered every time we talk about these things because nothing agwan, DJ. Nothing ever changes.
The outcome never seems to help the needy.
The needy. And then I think of our dear friends there, the people who'd go out of their way to make life for you and me, people from foreign who have actually nothing to look for there. We just come there and we say, yeah, I'm going to live here. Jamaicans welcome us with open arms. They look after our yards for us. They give us advice on what to do in a hurricane. They call up right after the hurricane and ask about me and Mom instead of telling me how they are. That's what Jamaicans do. And then I can get really tearful when I hear you talk about all these things because nothing is going to happen. They're just going to let them suffer and die. That's what they're doing. They just want Jamaicans to suffer and die, like they want Haitian people to suffer and die. I'm sick and tired of it. Something needs to happen. You talk. I need some water.
Look, I think there's many things that need to happen. I mean, as I said, it's about becoming self-reliant. At the moment, they have massive IMF debt, which does not help one bit.
No, and that's why I say that's a whole special we need to do one day.
It's still a factor. That's what I'm saying.
It's set up so that nobody can ever pay off their debt. Never mind. That's not what we're going to talk about now.
So, what was I going to say? You need to come up with schemes that I can't remember what I was going to say now.
No, we were talking about self-reliance. People need to be countries like Jamaica need to be more self-reliant. But the whole system is set up to keep them in their place. That's the problem. And then when catastrophe hits, everybody goes, "Ooh, was there a hurricane? I didn't know. Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry for you."
Look, one of the reasons they set up that catastrophe bond was for the very reason that they didn't have the problems that they'd had in previous hurricanes. But of course, they didn't pay out because of the small print. That's really despicable. That
it is. And this is what Roz hits the nail on the head. Self-reliance is a frame of mind that has been erased due to colonialism. That's the point I'm trying to make, but I'm so irritated. That's the point I'm trying to make. First you colonize the place, you cut down the people. Then when they want to do a little thing, they can't because they don't have any, self-esteem.
Isn't that capitalism or part of consequence?
It's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same. I'm looking at the clock. I need to end this on a higher note. DJ, tell me about your friends. Everybody okay? Were the babies born during the storm? I don't know. Tell me something.
Probably. Everyone I know of is okay. I think Lloyd, who mows my lawn and does my he lost a few trees, but I mean, look, he's okay. Education.
Yeah, that's another special we can do about the education system in Jamaica. Roz, I suggest you look at the PocaTV live that I did at the end of May. You'll find it on YouTube on the live tab. That was my hopes and dreams and tips for Jamaica. You check that out, Roz. because
Yeah,
it's a
but I
whole-
think
yeah.
is Rosalind actually alluding to school education or just general education in the ways of the world and business, etc. I'm not sure what she's referring to.
Say what is what?
So when she says education, is she referring to like a school education, schooling, or is she
Any kind of general education is what she says. Everybody needs to
general?
be
Right.
educated,
Good.
including Mr. Holness, because Mr. Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, has no clue as to what he's doing. He is still trying to be friends with the former colonizers. He needs to stop doing that. If
Yeah.
he doesn't stop doing that, the people of Jamaica are in no position to educate themselves, to grow, to become self-reliant.
And I've remembered what I was going to say now.
One.
One of the examples of trying to be more self-reliant is the fact that at the moment, and I've alluded to this in previous Wednesday things, is the reliance on the US dollar, because the key thing here is that more reliance on the US dollar means the Jamaican dollar weakens instead of strengthens, and you will never have a strong economy without a strong currency.
Yeah.
And this is something, but seriously,
But a tiny little island like Jamaica with not even 3 million people cannot ever have a currency that will compete with the euro, with the dollar.
I'm not suggesting it needs to compete, but what I'm suggesting is it can be a lot stronger than it is now, the Jamaican dollar.
But to have a strong currency, you need industry to back up. You need your
Oh,
own
no,
product,
exactly.
your
Yeah, but
productivity.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
And
what
at
needs
the moment, we have, I'm going to put him up yet again because the man irritates the hell out of me. At the moment, we have a prime minister in Jamaica who's setting up his people to be servants, while we have a beautiful university in Jamaica where Caribbeans from all over the Caribbean come. And then he tells them, you know what, forget the 6th grade secondary school, just go clean in hotels. That's what this guy tells his people.
People
We
need
need to
people need people need reasons to want to prosper in Jamaica, because and this goes back to my question to Rosalind about education, because we know a lot of people will get good educations here, they'll pass their exam, they'll go to UE, get a degree or whatever, and then they'll leave Jamaica. And then they'll go foreign. Yeah.
Because there is nothing for them to do in Jamaica.
Which is what, yeah, exactly. That's why they need something to make them want to stay here.
And I have a million ideas, so they can just call me and I can tell them how to, for little money, can set up an industry and get to work.
Yeah,
our friend
hotline.
Donna has joined us. You're
Hi,
late,
Donna.
Donna. I hope you, I don't know if you were watching all the time, but thank you for being here. I was wondering where you were. So, Rosalind is fed up with everything, and she says, well, what are we competing for? Milk and honey? Well, yeah, or some kind of, no, you know what we're competing for? We're competing for lighter skin and blonde wigs, Rosalind. That's what Jamaicans right now are.
I'm telling you, I had some guests here from Spanish Town the other day, and when I saw the woman, she's black skinned, but
You cannot talk about your guests on PocaTV. People might see it. Don't.
they won't. But anyway, all right.
Send me a message. I think I get the picture.
All right, okay.
We're gonna round up, DJ. I just wanna say to Jamaican people, these are desperate times. You're getting the short end of the stick. You got me on your side. Just call me if you need a revolution. I'm ready for it. And I have nothing to lose. So you're the strongest people I know on the face of this earth. What you need to do is come together, work together, kick out government, come up with a new system, come up with plans. You can do it. You're creative people. Just do it. Don't let anybody tell you it cannot be done. You can talk.
Okay.
Anything you want to say?
No more. We got the album to do still.
Do the album. Show us the album, please.
It's a lovely cover.
Is it?
Yeah, hold up.
Yeah. Thank you, Roz. Thank you for watching and for being so really, really active in the chat today. Come for some fried breadfruit soon. Why, you have fried breadfruit? Where you get the breadfruit? I will find out because you're in England. Roz, thank you so much for joining, and
You
see
see
you
them
again
in
next
England.
time.
I used to see.
Yeah.
I used to see breadfruit in Brixton Market and in
Yeah.
Ladbroke Grove. They
That's
used to
probably where
import
she get it. Show us the album, DJ, because I'm tired. I'm tired. Who is this? Freddie McKay. Oh, Freddie
them.
McKay.
What a cover, eh?
Hey, what is he? Moses on the mountain?
Well, I don't know. That was just my reflection.
Yeah, it
But,
looks
but
like
the
that.
album's called Creation, so you know.
He's just playing God. That's what he is. But then he sounds like God. So yeah,
And
he's
then you have
allowed.
the other side.
Oh, lovely. Well, nobody even guessed it was Freddie McKay. Neither
Yeah.
did I. It's lovely. What a lovely face he has. And
Yeah,
well,
man,
had
yeah,
he's no longer with us. So yeah, thanks for that, DJ.
no problem.
I guess this is how we're gonna end up this
Yeah,
program.
I mean, look, I mean that. How can we end up on a happier note? Nice cover. Thanks, Rosalind.
Yeah.
Things can only get better, surely.
Things
surely.
can only get better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the good news is, who else is commenting there? She says, "So lobby to us," meaning lots of enough love, and enough love to you back, Roz. Say hi to the family for us, and thanks again for joining us. Our next program, if all goes well, is going to be next week on July the 31st. Same time, same place, and the laptop that you borrowed from somebody because yours is being fixed, DJ, it held up. So far, so good. So yeah, great.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, Donna knows it was the festival song winner in 1976, Freddie McKay. Donna knows all these little details that I don't know.
No. There was a tune called Festival Song. That's what she means, I think.
Oh, so why did she say winner?
Because the tune probably won a contest.
Donna, can you be a little more specific so we know what we're talking about?
Or am I talking
Festival
rubbish?
song was a winner in 1976. What exactly?
No,
Is there
it's called Dance This Year Festival. That's the name of the tune. Dance This Year Festival.
And it won, what is this? Big heel, what did she say? Big heel boot and belt foot pants. Oh, that's the time, 1976, when we wore those shoes and those pants. But did the song win a prize? Is that what you're saying, Donna? Because I'm not quite sure what you said.
No, I can see the lyrics that she just quoted are from his song called Dance This Year Festival.
Dance This Year Festival. Big heel boot and belt foot pant.
Yeah.
Those are bell-bottom pants. Well, great. Yeah. It's at least she has memories with Freddie McKay and that album. Well, DJ, the 31st is next week. We'll come up with items or an item to talk about then. I'm taking this moment to tell you that yet again there will be no PocaTV live this coming Friday because it's the opening of Olympics, and I'll be talking to myself. Nobody will be watching, and all the work that goes into one of those things, that would be kind of a waste. So no PocaTV live this coming Friday, but there will be a PocaTV Wenzzzday Ting next week, Wednesday, 9:00 p.m. European time, 2:00 p.m. Jamaica time, and everybody else, you just do your own math. Adrienne says, thank you again for a great thing.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Let me say thank you all in the chat and have that go. Is it gone? Yes, it's gone.
And rest assured, in future things, if relevant, I will provide updates on
anything that's been said
today. Yeah, on progress, let's say. Yeah,
that will be great. Looking forward to your reporting on that, DJ.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for joining me, everybody. Thank you for being with us today. See you next week. Be good, be nice. DJ, thanks. See you.
Right.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
PocaTV.